If somebody were to tell me years ago that one day I would get on an app for dancing teenagers and do a better job investigating the deaths in this state than our own crime investigation team does, I wouldn't have believed you. And yet here we are. Just this week I received several messages about a mysterious death that happened in Deadwood over the weekend. A young Native woman who had been there with friends was found frozen to death. You can pause to read. And again, you can pause to read. Open and shut case in 24 hours. This was her, Brianna Rain Ducheneau. I think I'm pronouncing the last name wrong. I apologize. Now here's what's really interesting to me, South Dakota. Not too long ago, I was on here talking about the mysterious circumstances surrounding Patricia Brewer's death. She was a Native woman found dead on the side of the highway out by the side of the airport. Not unlike Brianna, her case was closed start to finish within 2 weeks. Even though the suspect in question was putting this shit on the internet, literally apologizing to Patricia's parents for her involvement. Brianna also happened to be with people at the time of her death as well. And I guess what I want to say is this, because if I'm not reasonable and rational in these cases, then people aren't going to take my post seriously. So sure, we could argue that just because people are all hanging out in the same setting, they shouldn't necessarily be held accountable for what happened to another person. I mean, after all, it has been this temperature in South Dakota, and if either of these women did wander off on their own, then yeah, it's entirely possible they could have frozen to death. That said, investigators, this is the average amount of time it takes to investigate a suspicious death, or any death. But you closed down Patricia's shit in less than 2 weeks, and Brianna in 24 hours. Sure, maybe the people they were with weren't involved in their death, but you don't know that they weren't. I think that's what the investigation is for. I don't want to hear about we don't have the resources, we don't have the time. Get the resources and the time. Because there's no excuse for literally one Native woman and one child going missing per day in South Dakota. That is what we're up to. And no one seems to give a shit except for my followers. There's something seriously fucked up about that.